was complaining of the water, and I don't know what we can do.
No, because ultimately, at one time before the new bit of the churchyard was used, there was a ditch in between that ran down the back of Niles, or stopped at Niles, or disappeared under the ground, and when they took that bit of churchyard on from a field, it was levelled. So now literally the water comes down from the footpath that we did, and that other, and goes just everywhere because it's not channeled.
Starts off right up on the Kissing Gate because years ago they tried to build a concrete weir there to direct it, and Mike tried to divert it through the gate on the field that comes down behind the people that owns the ski field, and they went and told him to put it somewhere else. But a lot of it runs down the other end towards the farm and down through the field.
It does.
But there's a surprising amount that comes out of the reservoir tank in the Manor Woods.
But also by the Kissing Gate, where that channel is, it runs straight down to Celia's, what's its old house?
The old stables.
Chris
Harris. I mean his house is particularly badly
because once upon a time there was a ditch and it went somewhere there, but obviously when it was filled in, the water just goes everywhere on a flat surface.
Is there anything with
springs
I think we can do?
There's a spring in the field
When Chris Harrison was doing his house, there was, when the building site was there, it had water just pouring through there, and I thought he did
He had to drain the whole of the thing.
I think he diverted it onto somebody else's.
Yes, I think he diverted.
No, I knew he diverted it, but I thought he diverted it. Okay.
Well, he blocked it going onto his property.
The trouble is gravity's always going to win in water, so I don't know. And Brent Knoll is full of springs that move.
Do they actually move?
They migrate across the side of the hill.
Really?
Yeah. Well, John's got one opened up in his. There's never been one this winter.
But is there anything practically we can do going forward?
Could we get any advice from Matthew Wall?
Who's in charge of springs? Because that's where it all comes from. When we have a load of water that comes out of the ground there.
Matthew rang me actually, because I did raise it after the last meeting, and what Matthew said to me was it was a church issue.
The drainage board don't want to know
Church
unless it's on the
didn't want to know
flat,
about it actually.
because they can drain it off the flat, but when it's coming down, they're not really interested. So I don't know where we go. But
National Trust is at the top.
It's going to get more and more of an issue.
Yeah,
It is, isn't
well,
it?
it's going to be more now.
Extreme
And
rainfall.
you used the pump, did you, to help alleviate the flooding, Peter?
Not really.
No.
But at the top end.
No, I thought last time when we had the annual parish meeting,
But that drain,
you said you
which goes into some sort of culvert, is totally blocked. And it's been blocked for a long time. And nobody's quite certain where the drain goes, some towards the big beech tree, but it is blocked.
So who owns that?
Church?
So it's down to the church to get it cleaned out.
Probably. I mean, Alan, has been complaining about it the last 12 years. Because it spills out, goes down the path through the ditch gate and down the road. But there is a problem in that culvert by the North Tower.
Or should we, as parish council, not bring a formal letter to the PCC?
Well, even if you do, that wouldn't solve
Would
the
they,
problem.
they might take some action to sort this culvert out?
But I think the problem with the culvert that John's talking about is really there to deal with the roof water that's coming off the church, not a whole load of
just
water
run
coming
straight
off the
down
land.
into off the roof.
You're quite right. There was I did go up there and I picked that, but it was certainly that deep water there, and it was not going anywhere because you can see the drain, there's a culvert there, and that's it. It stops.
Yeah, and even if you were to try to divert that water that runs down the side of the path, that runs on down, where are you going to divert it to?
Yeah, that is the
Where
big
is it?
problem.
Straight down the road.
Down the side and then to the houses.
But that particular blocked drain meant that it went straight to the church walls, which are quite thick, and was that deep on the flagstones on the church floor. So the church The church itself has a major problem now.
Can't we drain it into existing drains, drains on the side of the road?
There's any up there.
There's nothing there.
Is
We
anything
can stop it going down from the top field, because I'm going to dig a ditch alongside our footpath, because I already said to Richard, I think that's going to be a good way, but ultimately there's a lot of water coming down the side of the footpath
Yeah, there is.
that is doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But if you
So
dig a little-
where are you going to build your ditch?
I was going to go all the way along where the railings were, because ultimately there'll be a new fence there.
Where the old railings
Yeah.
are? Oh, so
So
you're
it
going
will
to
take any hill water, but it won't take any
So
water.
it's coming down the edge
Well,
of
it runs the
other
way.
property.
Yeah.
It'll
Won't that
come.
stop the cyclists?
Where will it run to?
Well, that's the
Into
test.
Mills Robertsfield?
Yeah, ultimately it's just going to
Right,
disperse,
okay.
but it shouldn't take a lot of water. The trouble that day that we had was so much rain,
Yeah.
the footpath water and the tank water that was overflowing as well, and it all literally just rolled down the gutter that's in that field.
So if the
What?
tank water
Yes.
overflows, does that find its way into the gutter
Yeah.
that runs down by the
Yeah.
side of the footpath?
How often
They all
does-
sort of run into each other, so it's a bit of a mess.
How often does that overflow up there?
It's sort of trickling all the time
Is
because
it?
it's spring fed.
Right.
This is the
What was it
reservoir.
for originally though?
Drinking water. That's the first
How
drinking
deep is
water
it,
ever
did you
brought to the village.
Oh really?
How deep is it?
I don't know, we haven't
Perhaps they
measured.
should bottle
A
it.
good,
Quite
a
deep,
good
so it's
100
swimming pool.
foot,
About 100 foot, yes, isn't
Just
it?
sell it, yeah.
at least, I thought. There's a well in the Manor Drive that's 45 foot deep, because we measured it last week.
Oh, no,
45
I'm
feet.
all that's on the flat, mine's 18.
Yeah, 45 feet from the drive at the Manor.
So it's got to be, because you have to...
The Cromwell's the rock down, which is very deep.
Yeah.
We had-
So moving on, otherwise we'll be on this
That's a
all
lot
night.
better.
What's the environment?
Would you like to minute or
I think David's going to try and do something
Yeah,
to alleviate
I'll try and.
by putting the
Dig
ditch
a
in
ditch.
Yeah.
as a
As
first
a-
fix,
Yeah,
and then
as
see
an
what happens.
emergency measure, but ultimately
It may
the
not be a
water to the
solution.
side of the Manor is,
Yeah.
well,
Oh, so he's happy to do something.
yeah,
to
like I
help.
said, I think.
What about the
that's-
water coming out the reservoir? That's not, is that a separate part? The reservoir
No,
is
it's-
leaking
Which,
up the top.
well, the one that we talked
No,
about, no,
that's
that's
the
the
one in the
that's
village.
another one.
Oh, that's another one.
Really?
That's above your...
Yeah. Okay.
your
It's leaking.
what?
Yeah, yes, the reservoir.
Oh,
Well, the reservoir's leaking.
I
Been leaking
mean, you
for
checked your
ages.
water bill, that's why you're paying so much.
That's why we've discussed it for quite a few months on the
Right. Anything on highways, Malcolm?
No, not really. I've not heard anything from anyone. I'd just like to report there's quite a big hole developing on Brent Street, right in the middle of the road outside number 74.
Quite a shop.
I'm 75.
No, this is up towards Narroweye, near the junction there.
Right. There's another one outside, opposite your alley.
Yeah, Barker Lane, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I've made note of that.
Yeah.
Just looking at some of the outstanding ones there on the list here, curbstone outside the parish hall, has that been dealt with yet? Does anybody know?
I don't
I
know.
haven't checked it today, but I mean, that was one outstanding issue. There's
He's going to
also,
go and have a
Meters
look.
off.
there's also a culvert outside of Tops Cottage in Hill Lane, which is blocked. It was reported a couple of meetings ago, which I reported to the county.
It's full up
But
of-
I don't know whether anything
Is that where that stone
Yeah,
is?
all the stone.
Yeah.
is that, as far as you know, nothing's been done about that
I
now.
think
It's still
so.
there.
So that's an outstanding issue then. And then we've also got Ham Road Chill Park Road surface in poor state. And I've reported unsure of current status. I'm not quite sure where we are with it, whether it's been done, whether it's been marked off. I just don't know.
The one in Wick Lane?
This is the one in Chill Park
Oh,
Road.
sorry.
Ham
I
Road
don't
Chill
think
Park.
anything's been done.
No.
Nothing, still outstanding, I think.
They've definitely slowed up on these reported jobs. I mean, there's no question about it. They have really slowed up. They used to do them within a fortnight at one time.
I suppose it was the end of the year, wasn't it? End of the financial
Yeah,
year.
and Ferndale in Wick Lane has
Yes,
also been
I
reported
noticed
poor
when-
road surface there.
Did the BKM this time. It's a different shape now, but it's
Alright.
definitely,
Still wonky.
it's a real dip now.
So-
No, it's not even a mark.
So all these jobs need re-reporting, don't they?
Yeah.
re-report.
Thank you, Bob. I don't know what I've got now.
Right, Village Green, who did the Village Green this year, this month?
That's me.
Oh, Bob.
Yeah, basically, as members are aware, it's been pretty wet. The grass is in need of a cut, but obviously it will be drying out now, so that'll help. Very little rubbish compared to normal. Hardly any rubbish coming off there at all. We had a small working party that have done the clearance of the fence along the side, so thank you to John and David in particular for coming along and giving a hand. Play equipment all appears to be pretty good order. Car park has been tidy. Toilets were generally clean. There's no soap dispenser in either of them. They seem to have gone walkabout. The drains and hand dryers appear to be working okay this time around. So it looks like plumbing has been looked at least.
May I just ask Bob something?
Have they mended that toilet in
Were they all right, the Lewis? Because George
Yeah.
rang me up the plumber.
Well, one of them said don't flush because the flush doesn't work,
Right.
but it did.
Oh, well, he might have changed his.
So I think
Because
he may
I
have-
told you, he said if it was wrong, he'd do it.
Yeah, it seemed to be working at that
Okay.
stage.
And is it blocked still in the men's?
No.
Right.
No, that's
He seemed to
clear.
think that because we had so much water, it unblocked itself because of the level rose. I don't understand what he's talking about, but he knows what he's talking about.
But other than that, everything seemed to be
Peter's the next man.
Yeah. Can I just say that the working party did a super job? I arrived late, as it was piddling.
It was.
And Bob was stood there in his t-shirt.
Very good.
They did a super job.
Now, we've had a monthly report which has identified some issues with the trim trail.
Yeah.
I've read that.
What you suggested, I think, Owen, somebody from the council meet with
With Colin
Jubilee
Lewis.
Sportsman.
Colin Lewis. Yeah.
Do we think that's a good idea, or can we sort it out ourselves? Because I guess if there's a rotten post, we need to take it out.
Yeah. That sounds like there's something you do.
Quite a lot
Seems a lot rotten, I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's damaged,
There's a lot
actually.
of rock
Lot of
on,
rot.
on the whole thing.
on the whole lot,
Which
Yeah, I
is
think we need a new
on the
one.
whole of the trim
needs
trail.
looking at, I think. I'm not sure in what way, but
Okay.
Um, well, there's two issues. I mean, if you stand at the car park now, as it was a nice sunny afternoon, and look that way, on the left you've got something bright and cheerful. On the right you've got something dull and disgusting, putting it bluntly,
yeah.
and it's not at all attractive. So I was going to suggest, irrespective of whether we've got problems with it, that we need to think about in the future painting the trim trail to make that nice and bright, as we've done the other play equipment, because I do think it has improved it immensely. However, if there were issues with the wood in the ground, I guess, then we need to sort something out with that.
But the report said that we ought to
You need
dig
to
down
replace
and
it.
have a look to inspect it, couldn't they?
So,
Because you won't really know.
so shall
Who
we get
has to do that?
Colin Lewis? Well, Colin Lewis will come out and meet somebody. Somebody wants to meet up with.
Is it something that our play equipment group need to do, or something? I don't
The
know.
other thing with repairing it is the insurance.
Oh, I don't mind meeting him.
It's Brian's not here, that's all.
I'm quite happy to meet him.
You sure?
Go through it.
Yeah.
To meet.
Because I'm just wondering if we put posts in like that, rather than just rely on prep treatment, we ought to treat the posts with, I don't know, oil, engine oil or whatever. Because they certainly is a danger.
Yeah, see what it's like.
Okay.
I'm just thinking, whether we report it, whether you.
It's not on there, is it?
It's not on the separate, it's not on the,
Yeah.
no, so we need to discuss it here, we need to discuss it.
Well, I was just wondering whether we need to discuss it. What do members think? Can we talk about the toilet block, please, going forward now, or do we want to?
Mr. Chairman, I was charged with a contact him and meet up with him, and I haven't had time to do it, I'm sorry. So if we could leave it till next time.
When you say your contact, oh, this is a
It's
session guy.
no, it's at Harris Brothers and Collard, isn't it? The old builders. They're in charge of them, and that was the contact that Owen gave me, but I haven't had a chance to get hold of him.
So this is just a general builder, Colin?
No, he was given to
He's
us
a
as
specialist, I think.
a
Specialist. I was thinking, personally.
Yeah.
Uh, If we just gutted what we've got, repainted the walls, put in a new floor, possibly a false ceiling which is white, so it makes it bright rather than dull, and then you could go and, goodness sake, we can get toilets from B&Q for 100 quid.
Yes, we can.
So, we should be able to come up with something, but we need somebody to do it.
Well, I understand this chap can give advice on these sort of premises, so I was going to get advice on what he felt was right. And then if he feels that we should be taking it out and replacing with single urinals, for instance, or cladding the walls to make it easy to clean, that sort of thing, I'll take his advice, then come back to you.
Because I think, I'm sorry to prolong it, but I think we've got a catch-22 situation with the cleaning of the toilet. If I was a cleaner, it's not the thing that you'd ideally want to clean, therefore it doesn't get cleaned as well as it could do. And if we do get the toilet block up to speed, I suggest that then we look for an alternative cleaning, or we look to get a price from an alternative cleaning contractor, which may be cheaper. And it's been suggested to me that there's a very good cleaner for the hall and the school.
Yeah.
And they may or may not want to take on.
But it may be cheaper.
Been done,
Yeah. If it's nice.
painted and
Yeah.
it's clean.
And of course then the other question is the externals as well, Colin. Does that need a lick of spray paint?
Well, the trouble is, once you start painting something, you've got to maintain it.
Yes.
But presumably it's been painted originally.
No,
No, that's the colour,
that
isn't
is
it?
the colour.
That was
the
a mixture.
It was the render. Yes, I was in the render. Okay.
That was a mixture.
How do you clean render? I don't know.
Do you better?
No,
No,
don't
you can
clean
clean
it.
it.
Very carefully.
Very carefully.
Really.
Flood mitigation, it's been wet, but I don't think, the only problem we had was down Brent Street.
Yeah.
And the people this afternoon told us in no uncertain terms, this is the Station Road development people. They have identified what the problem is there, and they effectively assured us that as part of the development, the problem will be solved.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we have to do.
Yes.
And the last one we had in the rain, I went down there, there was no, there was water in the drain, but there was no standing in the road.
But it's that culvert that goes under the road or something,
Yeah.
Which is not that.
which is blocked or whatever. Collapsed.
We're going to do that. aren't we?
Collapsed.
Yeah, from survey.
That's what they reckon.
So they
Need to be done.
redo it.
Mm.
Right, parish surgery, I think that was a resounding.
We had George Brown came in during our previous meeting, and he just raised two issues with me. One was the 40-mile-an-hour limit, and whether we've been able to move forward on that one, on the A38. And the other one was the signage on the Glebe field of the Coronation Oak, which of course he's all been very, very keen to put there. We have had a letter from the diocese now who have said that we can put a sign up there, an appropriate sign, providing they have the right to remove it should they wish to do so in the future. Effectively, I can't imagine why they would want to remove the sign.
They have to put that in the parcel.
So it's a question of getting this agreement on the signage wording and getting our friends there in science to
Where are we
place on there.
proposing to cite it?
On the gate, is there a gate there or a fence just by the
No,
There's
no fence.
There's a poor quality
Railings.
railings, yeah.
Close to mine.
If you're going to put a sign there, it needs to be kept clean or clear the way the one is on the main road here. Else it just gets
Probably you've got posts in the field, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So we would need to agree on the wording at some point.
Yeah.
I think there is existing wording on the existing sign, isn't there?
Yeah,
It's just you can't see it
yeah,
right by the tree.
I'll go and get it, but I did ask them whether I could go in and get it, but it was so muddy. But I'll get the old, but it's broken anyway, but you can see what just it was.
Yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't attend the surgery today, but did someone stand in for me?
Yeah, well, Brian came and Bob came. So
That's what I said, if I can take your place any time.
Oh.
Anything on 40 mile an
Yeah,
hour?
can I go back? Sorry, to police matters.
No, just before we do police matters, 40, the point that came up at the surgery,
Oh, sorry.
40 mile
Yeah,
an
in
hour.
terms of the 40 mile an hour, basically it's similar to where we were this time last month in that they have now reported to me that they've done the speed survey work up there, they are analysing it and they will be coming back to us to say what they can do with it. But I will try and chase that at the next meeting.
Thank you.
40 mile an hour with Fox and Goose.
Oh,
Police matters, yes.
right. I got in touch with Andy Pritchard for Roger, for you. Neighbourhood Inspector First Speed Watch, and he says, I can confirm that you're covered as attached provided you are operating as per our guidance. So as long as they do what they should do, yes, the police insure them. So that, do you want that?
Yes, I wouldn't mind just getting on file.
It's just my email.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, we were talking about seeking the police's support to obtain our speed watch team's alternative sites. Do you know where that's got at?
Yes, Roger spoke to Mike, emailed Mike, and he's waiting, Mike, the chappie in Burnham, is waiting for it to come back for the okay. But
Okay.
he's chasing it up, and he said they're just busy. They haven't got enough manpower.
As
per
every,
But as soon as it comes, he'll let
Thank
you
you.
know.
Now, as we're talking about speeding, how is Sid? Has Sid appeared anywhere?
Sid hasn't gone back because I've been too busy. And I
just-
thought about it today and I will endeavour to get it to Richard this week.
Has it stopped? And there's no rain for the next fortnight, according to BBC.
Yes.
No, not for the, according to the BBC, so...
No, I will get it to him.
I know Richard is expecting at some stage, he knows you're going to bring some stuff.
Thank you. Right, so
Yes,
there was nothing else on police?
No.
Nothing outstanding from
No.
Right, response on correspondence and decisions. There's a thank you letter from Somewhere House Charities.
Yeah, we had a letter of thanks from Somewhere House as we made a grant which we wrote them last month. And obviously you saw that letter of thanks from them, so we very appreciated what we've done there. There's also the Richard Young has confirmed the internal audit has now taken place, and he's happy with everything that he witnessed. That's now gone off to external auditor, so hopefully everything's okay there. We've also got a letter here from Sandra Few, the Secretary of Parish Hall, about the flag. Parish Council agreed to the Parish Hall flag was using the village green for the annual each year. At the last committee meeting, I was asked to write to you to ask whether the Parish Council agreed to flying the village flag on the date of the fete, which is the 9th of June. So we need agreement. They need agreement, but we are happy for them to fly the flag.
But don't we fly the village flag all through the summer?
Matt came up and flew the flag of St George on.
I know he did, but as a point of principle, when you were the flag man...
We always put the Union flag up on.
No, but the village flag, is that not always up? Unless there's another occasion. So they want the village flag flown for the... It's going to be up.
Yeah, but they want the Union.
No, they want the village flag.
Village flag.
So it's going to be up anyway.
Yeah.
So yes, agreed.
Unless it's down.
I'm not sure where it is.
It's on the pole.
It's halfway. Is it up the pole at the moment?
Yes.
Well then.
So is everybody happy with that?
I mean,
Well, if that's a point of principle, we fly the village flag between sort of April to October, isn't it? Roughly.
yeah.
I'll reply back to Sandra. Must remember her new email address. Can't you? Okay. Just one other thing on there, which wasn't on the agenda, but in fact, I'll come back to it in a minute. This GDPR is becoming a looming issue for all organisations, general data protection. But there's a bit on the agenda for that anyway, so I'll come back to that later.
Finance and payments.
Finance and payments. Statutory payments this month include the usual, plus we've got the Sedgemoor invoice for the dog bins and the cleaning contract for the first half year. So it's basically the cleaning contract for the first half year, dog bins, tax, salary and GB Sport and Jason Mayer, of course. That's included in 2829. Then the variable payments this time around, we've got Richard Young's internal audit fee, £20. He never seems to put his fees up, but he's charged £20. So training fee, which is obviously what Cynthia and Bella went on, and we'll obviously have a chat about that later on, perhaps, on the agenda. This publication here, which is the new, we haven't updated this for about 4 or 5 years now, and when I went to the SLC training in Falmouth, most clerks were picking up new copies of this for their councils because there's a lot of new stuff in there. So I took it on my own back to purchase one on behalf of the council, so we've got updated information. I haven't read it page to page, I can honestly say, but I'm working my way through it.
That's our reference book.
That is very much the Bible, as it were. £73.60, not cheap. Mendip Community Transport agreed grant last month of £50. The Ceramic Poppy project, previously agreed grant of £100. And David Welland, the 3 posts on Brent Street, £155. So they are all the payments list for this month.
So can we have a
proposal and seconder, please?
proposal to and a seconder?
So it's John and Colin.
Yeah, and all those in favour? Thank you.
We've received our Part 1 payment of £15,564 from Sedgemoor for our first precept payment of the year. That does include about 129 for the grant, which we get every year. We get this grant, which I've never understood, nobody else does either. But we're still getting a bit of it every year. I think it's running out though slowly, isn't it? Yeah. You know, so it's probably the last year we get it anyway.
Is John Hale happy with the posts?
Sorry? Yes, I spoke to Cynthia though, and she said that she was happy with it, so I assume that John was. Nothing else on payments actually.
Audit update?
Well, nothing to say really. Done that.
It's gone away. Do we know time scale for the external?
External, probably, ours was one of the first ones in apparently, so we probably should get a completion on it by the end of June, but we also got the public rights notice that goes up on the notice boards on June the 3rd, which remains there for about 6 or 8 weeks. So any members of the public, if they want to see the accounts or any parts of our financial documentation, they can write to me and say they're requested. Right. So it's electors' rights, and once that's done, then the external auditor should be back to us with a certificate of completion. He'll have some queries. He's a new auditor, so he's bound to.
Well, also if we're the first one, he's bound to, because he's going to have.
Yes. Yeah, so there we go.
Right, moving on, matters for consideration. Any further issues relating to the telephone kiosk refurbishment? I guess if the bad weather has prevented...
It's been finished.
It's done.
It's finished.
It looks really good.
We haven't been up that way. If we compare it with East Brent, which is a wishy-washy pale pink,
Oh, it looks very good.
it looks the pucker.
Has he just done the outside or the inside as well?
The inside has been done as well.
Stand inside is really good.
Could have been done a lot quicker.
And it's got gold crowns on it.
Yeah,
Bob.
brilliant.
So is herself coming down to open that?
So it's the fitting out there, really?
Yeah, we've got a problem, haven't we?
Yeah. Well, do you want to update? Because I spoke to Baker as well.
You spoke to Nick Baker, did you?
I have, but
When?
I understand you were speaking to him. Or
Nick Baker has got a son who is a carpenter, and he has asked him to come and have a look and give a price. And the idea, and I think it was your idea, which is a sensible idea, is if the carpenter comes along to amend the inside, he should speak to Kim to see exactly what she wants.
And
And Bella, yes.
sorry.
So
we'll try and get hold of Nick Baker to come, or his son, to come and talk to the two of
and
you.
liaise with.
And liaise.
Is that all right, Bella?
Yeah.
Thank you very much indeed.
No.
So play services area, we've got several options coming there.
This is John, he's been doing a lot of...
Well, I did quite a lot about it. Kind of started the whole thing off and spoke to this firm in Oxford, and they came up with approximately £10,000 to resurface the area, and said it was 2,000 square metres. I then looked up one lot. 200 square metres, yeah. I then looked up online at whether any play surface contractors in the west of England. Yes, there are. There's one in Aller, just near to Langport, and the other one is in Bridgewater. They both give quotes. What is quite interesting is that the information and the advice they give, all three who've talked, because I've been with all of them, they all say exactly the same thing. They can either put what is called mulch, mat, which is probably about that thick, which can go on, or you can put on what is called an EPDM surface, which is looks a little bit like tarmac, but it is made from crushed rock pellets. There is a choice. The fact of the matter is that it's going to cost at least in excess of £8,000 or up to £12,000. The one people in Aller are self-professed extremely expensive, but they say they're very, very good, but they may well be, and they can prove that if they come and talk to us. All of the firms, certainly the two that I have spoken to who are local, they are quite happy to come back and talk to the group, so to give them their advice. We haven't talked to them about any discounts on anything, that can happen, but they will come and talk through either process, and they will take us, if we wish, to go to the sites that they've already dealt with in the area, either on schools or on playground, so we can go see their work. So what I would suggest we do, and I will talk to Colin about it, and we'll try and get hold of Brian and Peter, we'll get the people to come, they can make their play, we can ask them questions, get the information, get it all together, and then we will be moving towards being able to give the parish council some advice.
No, hang on, John, that's not quite right.
What we said, can I just finish?
Yeah, of course.
John alluded to the costs associated with the services.
Yeah, quite right.
So John wanted to get these people back to talk even more about it. But what I said to John was that it would be wrong to waste these people's time coming back to talk to us unless we had a mandate that we can talk to them, i.e. from mandate from the council to say, yes, please go ahead and talk to them, and yes, you can have a certain sum of money that you can have in your mind when you are dealing with them. So in other words, we know that if we come back to you and say, look, we've got 3 quotes, we've exhausted them all, and this is the one we recommend, and that we are talking to them in good faith, that we are going to go ahead, then it would be far better to do that.
Yes.
So what we would ask the council for, and this is probably the debate, please, can we have your authority to talk to these people more, but please can you give us to say that we want to go ahead because it's going to cost us between, as John says, between £8,000 and £10,000.
12,000.
To
where
do
are
all
we
these
going to get them?
We'll worry about that in a minute, but as a point of principle, I for one believe we have to do it, because otherwise we could be faced with accidents and all that sort of thing. As part of the existing, would they remove the tiles?
No.
They could go over the top. And the other one you say about this mulch, is that loose or is it bound?
Everything's bound. Everything is bound. As far as the tiles are concerned, there is a proposal so that they can get the right thickness and to get the surface going down and merging with the existing grass, and they want to take the mulch and take it down into the ground by removing the wooden strips which are there, because they only rot if you leave them there. So they would take away the end tile so that there is more space. But frankly, where we are discussing it, we need to be very, very clear when talking to these contractors exactly what they're going to do. There is one problem, the mat, which is thicker than EPDM, there becomes a bit of a problem with the roundabout, because there will be a finger trap under the roundabout if you put mat in there too thick. So you then may have to remove the tiles all the way around the roundabout to get the thing in. So there are various aspects, and I also think we need to talk about trip hazards.
Yes.
Because if they're going to put this up prone, how is it going to come out and merge down the ground? I spoke to a man at length about it on the phone yesterday. What we need to do is talk to the contractors to see how they're going to approach the problem. But whatever the problem is, it looks as though we've got to give a minimum of about $8.5 grand for anything. And then there is a discussion whether it would be EPGM or the mulch, which is more expensive. The only thing I would put into the pot, there's not much point in considering this and perhaps going ahead on it, because it looks as though we've got to replace the trim trail. Or at least look at it in some detail, so there's going to be expense there.
But initially, all we want is that the council are going to say yes, go ahead.
Yeah, but Bella?
Did you mention to me you'd spoken to somebody at one of your meetings?
The SLCC, they had a lot of stands around there, various suppliers, you know, people like Cayman Insurance were there and people like that. John did actually make some contact with them.
Well, you sent an email out saying, I bet this chap in Falmouth, and he comes from Huck Limited,
That's right.
in Dorset, Huck Limited in Bridport. Well, it was I rang up Huck Limited and I said, your man was down in Falmouth the other day. Oh yes, he was actually. He's selling safety service. We don't sell them, he said.
And I had about a half an hour conversation with this guy, and he was showing me all these different services, the sort of things that John was talking about, you know, compressed.
So Huck Limited in Bridport. So
I don't know what to say about that really. I mean, it was his wasted his time.
It was an interesting conversation.
He does it on the back of himself.
He may well do. He may well do.
No. So the point is, Colin's seeking. Sorry,
Could I just ask one question, because John mentioned trip hazards and stuff. You've said that we obviously have to do this because it's been picked up in the safety issue, which I think is right, but just wanted to check that the issue that's been picked up in the safety report is the trip hazards.
Get on the wood.
It isn't the safer surface themselves, so that we haven't had the safer surface condemned. What we've had is that people can trip up over the trip hazard. What I wouldn't want to do is spend a lot of money solving a problem that wasn't there to only be left with the same problem of a potential trip hazard again, if that's
If you go
yet
down
to be
to the
resolved.
main area, not the swings, the adjacent area on the right hand side, and look at the rubber tiling, and look at the profile, you've got something that does that at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's a dip, which obviously is a drainage issue, I suspect. And I think somebody said to me, I think it might have been David, that originally there was a drain or something run through the field. So I think, personally, it will need, those tiles will need addressing. Now, whether we do it this year sometime.
Excuse me, we aren't talking about technical issues here. Colin asked the council as to whether they considered that we should go ahead with spending this money on sorting out the problem the inspector picked up. That's all we wanted.
Yeah, you rest assured, this is
All the technical issues.
all the technical issues that you've raised.
Need to address.
We will address them and bring the samples to you.
Yeah.
Because there's colours to decide, there's type of surface to decide, there's the contractor to decide, because you know we need to take references because they're different from the ones Scott gave us. So there's all these sort of things, but I sort of reined him back. I said it's silly talking to these people unless we can do so with some knowledge that if we come back to you and say, look, this is what we're doing, please will you give us some money so we can talk to them?
Yeah, well, I think the point though, Colin, is the original query from inspection side was a trip hazard around the edges, which is caused by the grass sinking down, and we've got this wood frame against which the tiles are fitted, which in time will rot. And so the question is, do you do away with that wood or not? And
So why don't we have someone else down and say, look, can we achieve what the inspector wants without having to resurface the...
Oh, they're in a terrible service, the traffic state.
We don't have to take up the existing surfaces at all. We can take up the wooden edging if we so wish, but what happens is they dig a little trench all the way round and the mulch is pushed or spread into these, so it becomes a seamless edge between the grass and the resin, so you have no hard edge.
No,
Yeah.
grass grows up against it.
Yeah, so that's the beauty of the product that we looked at.
I quite agree with what Colin said. I think what we're actually saying is that we are where we are. Basically, not actually asking but getting into the contractors and sort of saying we're going to do this, that and the other, but we need to talk to contractors, but we need to know in principle as to whether the group of four should take it forward to get further information to bring back in a brief.
Bob has asked as to whether there's an alternative to completely covering the existing tiles with the product and just going around the edges and alleviating the strip hazard.
Because basically, several months ago when we first started this, we did look at doing that and just building it up. And I think the quote was somewhere 800 or 900 quid for doing the groundworks around. At the end of it, if we're going to be spending 8,000 or 9,000, we just want to make sure that we don't end up with a trip hazard left at the end of that, because then we're back to square one, that we've got much better surfaces, but we've still got an issue. But from what Colin said, that isn't going to be the case, so that's definitely solved.
So we are advised,
Okay.
yes, and that if you have it's all one surface rather than the existing tiles that are butting up with gaps. It's one continuous surface, like a sheet of lino, for want of a better analysis.
Can I make a proposal that we as a council authorise the group to discuss in principle with the contractors as Colin has outlined, and
Can I just
do we
ask a
need to
question
have a
from financial point
Yeah.
of view,
Yes.
where this, where in a treasurer's hat, shall we say,
Yes.
where does money come within our budget? Because our total budget for village costs this year is 15,500
Right.
total. That's everything.
We will be looking for getting some significant grants from somewhere.
Yeah.
Not sure yet where, but
Affordable housing.
Well, we've got some. Sorry to butt in. There's some RLT 2 or 3 money.
We've got, I think, 80 pence.
I thought there was.
There might
be some.
yes, right.
RLT3 wouldn't, because that's sports equipment, not play equipment. But there may well be other grants out there, like the Viridors of this world.
We need to look.
Well, I need to start now for 2020, I think. We'll do that.
What with Viridor?
Yeah.
Are they that slow?
It's that detailed an application. Yeah.
They work very quickly.
Yeah, we get a found. Now I've got a couple.
Hinkley Point are giving awards to villages.
Are we being impacted by Hinkley Point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the line, if it blows up to the right in line with the wind.
Temporarily, because they're building the jetty.
You want to bunker them by the Grey area.
So, in other words, the answer to the question is...
I don't think we can finance it directly out of our current budget,
No.
but I think we have to seek.
That's exactly what I want you to tell me.
So we need to get some, we have to identify
Money
funding.
first.
Yeah, so we, in other words, we as a group need to try to identify some form of external funding for it. Okay, that's fine. At least we know what we can finance.
But we still need to do some, ideally, in this world, we need to do something.
Yeah, we've got a store at the bazaar.
So we charge the,
Exactly.
can we charge the parish hall for using the grounds for St. Leonard? For the annual fete?
Good idea.
10,000.
So,
That's what
okay,
they call
so
reinventing the wheel.
So we're moving forward, but we have another issue, which Peter alluded to, or John alluded to, is there could be a cost implication for the trim trail. And we don't know what that is until that's investigated, so
Well, I'm going to meet
we're going to meet that, and obviously that will be part of that equation. I'm afraid.
So we're agreeing to what has been proposed, that is that Colin and Peter and John should go ahead and, in principle.
Yeah, it's the principle going on.
we need to identify how we're going to finance it.
Yeah.
Because it's not going
Financial
to
considerations first.
Is it in there, or was it? I've seen, there's something on the Sports Fields Association, but they do something. Is it Sports Field?
Playing.
Playing Field Association, but they do.
There's also the possible Clark's Family Trust, which I could certainly follow up on. Might be get somewhere with that.
What do you know
Yeah, a couple
about
of thousand
tipping
possibly.
point?
So I guess again, there you've got to work out whether you're applying for
But
that,
there
for
is
this, or whether
there
you're
is a
using it for
I think we're probably more likely to get money from the Clark's Foundation Trust for play equipment or play services than we would for the toilet block, personally. Because they will see the toilet block as a local authority's responsibility, not their grant.
What about Rosper?
Rosberg, well, never used Rosberg. They used to do our inspections at one time.
Yes.
They haven't done so for some years.
Okay.
Yeah, possibly.
Tesco,
Tesco, yeah. Why? I mean, I think it's just a question of approaching some of these organisations and seeing what they consider a likely target for their funds.
Yeah.
So,
Moving on, quotations from Andy Selway.
Yeah, we've had quotations. I was asked to get a quotation from Andy Selway for the painting of the bench that was missing, a top fence and a side fence. All of those we asked Andy Selway to quote, and he has no quote on those. The total of it is 647.
in terms of what's the side fence bit?
I'm not
The
sure.
side fence
Is that bit up
is, he interpreted the side fence as, because I was here when he did it, is the fence that runs at the back of the slide all the way to the corner,
Okay.
and the fence that runs all the way along the back. Yeah.
It's the
Rails.
it's the post and rail fence,
Yes.
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
looks not as nice as what we've now got at the car park.
So in terms of what we had done before, it's about 2.5 times the length of that
Yeah.
that was done at the front.
And he's doing a seat as well.
Yeah.
A bench. That
But bearing in mind, the bench was quoted on last year's painting, and he didn't do
He
it.
didn't do it.
So effectively, we'd be paying for it twice if we agreed for him to do
Can
it.
you query that?
So I would need to say to him, look, we think the bench was included in your last quote.
I did actually query it with him the other day when he was in the post box, so I think it's fair enough that you should query it.
So it's the other two, top and side fence is what we're talking about primarily. It's labour and materials.
And how much were they?
602,
Just for the
604.
fence.
That's
That's
fences.
a lot of fence.
It's a lot of fence.
I think that's correct. And materials, obviously.
That's both, yeah.
Mm.
Materials and,
Is that two coats?
he didn't say it was 2 coats or not, he just said
That's right.
so I need to go back to him on that if we feel that's...
So can we have
Or we can get an alternative quote.
Do we want an alternative quote, ladies? We have to
I should on that, I think on a big job like that, I think we should.
Sorry?
Dave
Welland?
Dave Welland may quote, yes, Dave possibly. Is there anybody else in the village? Do you remember I sent you something from another gardener
Oh, that's-
setting up
yeah,
in
yeah,
Barrow?
Ex-policeman.
Ex-policeman, he started his own business. I mean, wonder whether somebody like that would be quite keen to get a job and,
Yeah.
give us a good quote.
Yeah.
So shall I ask him as well? Dave Welland, so that's 3 quotes then, won't we?
Yeah, that'd be good. Moving on, training. We'll training events, SLCC and SUC. So that was the ladies went to.
Yeah, we did.
SARC and I went to SLCC.
Yeah.
Ladies first, shall we?
Yes,
It
please.
was very good, wasn't it?
I've got one or two bits and pieces. Just a bit of interest. There are 278 parish councils in Somerset.
How many?
278. Right. One of the things that came up was you can't give money or grants, is that the right word to use? Grants to schools, actually to them. You have to give them through either a charitable trust or, when I mentioned it to you, you said something about maybe through the PTA.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you came back to me with that, I took it up, a week later I was on the SLCC course, and I took it up with them, and they confirmed what Sal had said,
Yeah.
that we can't give money to a school because it's another local authority. In other words, we're giving a grant to Somerset County Council, effectively. But what you can do is give a grant to another body that's set up, like the PTA, which is a separate body with their own financial arrangements. They've got their own accounts and their own schemes. Then we can give money to them for specific projects. So that's the way around it if we want to get around that.
But if the school goes into this trust place,
academy, then we may
That's
well
totally different then.
Different.
then they're not part of the local
Yeah,
authority.
no, that's
Therefore,
Yeah.
it would presumably we're not tied there.
No.
Right. Data protection officer, should we have one?
This is all part of GDPR, of course, and like all government policy, there's a lot of things that haven't been said rather than all those that have been. There's a lot of uncertainty about all of it, particularly the data protection officer, because what's happened is people like SLCC and SALC have gone back to the government and said, look, you know, you're expecting small local parish councils who have limited resources to be financing a data protection officer. It's a complete nonsense. And what they're hoping for by the end of the year is the government will see a little bit of reality, watch this space, and decide that certain sizes of authorities won't be liable to have this. It's the same as parochial church councils is another issue. You see, parochial church councils are similar in a way to us, in as much as they're small voluntary bodies being asked to have data protection officers for very small amounts of money in some cases. So I think it's watch this space. We certainly don't need to have one in the short term. We have got a clerks meeting coming up tomorrow afternoon, our clerks liaison group in Burnham, and that's on the agenda for discussion. So there may be some more comes out of that tomorrow.
The other thing that came up was, if you do the maintenance of the churchyard, you are responsible for everything in that churchyard. So you know, this is insurance again. You know, if Jason did something to one of these, headstones,
Yes.
you know, we would be responsible, or would he be responsible?
Well,
But they're saying it's your responsibility.
I mean, it comes back to, again, funny enough, a lot of the subjects you covered at the South were the same kind of subjects that I covered at SLCC, and insurance was one of the big ones. It's absolutely essential that people like Jason, and anybody who does any work for us, how big, how small, do have adequate insurance, public liability insurance, if they make an error, mistake, do some damage, whatever. So, and to that end, I've asked all of our contractors now that we deal with currently to provide me with a copy of their certificate of insurance. Because without that, we shouldn't be doing any business whatsoever. I've had two. I've had John's let me have the gardener, Lady Gardener's, theirs, and I've had Dave Wellard, he was the first one to produce it. I haven't had Jason's, and I haven't had Andy Selway's at the moment.
Jason is the warrior, I should think.
No, Jason's got it.
Oh, he's got it.
It's just that he hasn't arrived yet. But you're right. You're absolutely right. He is responsible for.
Oh, not another.
Yeah, but not.
So, you know, the answer is right. You're right. Basically.
Sin, is there anything else you want to add to that? Oh, it was very good, wasn't it?
Yes, it was excellent.
Excellent.
Actually. Yes.
Very
I
well
think Brent
presented.
actually covered quite a lot of things about it.
Yeah.
But there was one point that I remember, and they said that you can't act on behalf of the parish council unless it's been discussed and agreed.
Yeah.
And you cannot work with outside powers because it has happened in the past, I think, once or twice. But it was one of the things which I I kind of clocked up really.
Picked up on, yeah.
Yeah, because we
Lots of little tips like
yes,
that.
he was very, very good. He covered an awful lot. There's
Precise.
quite a lot, I mean, enormous amount to take in because it was very comprehensive.
Justin is very good.
But it was very well done, and it was well defended as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything on SLCC?
SLCC, the difference to that, no, really, the insurance is a big issue. We had Coleman Company, who are our insurers, they actually gave a seminar on insurance. You know, that came out as a big topic because one council, I think it was somewhere outside Plymouth, had done a job through a contractor who was not insured, had damaged significant property, and it cost the parish council over £10,000 to put this right because the contractor didn't have the correct insurance to do the work. And so this is why
you don't actually think of it, you just expect them to have it.
yeah, exactly. So this is why they were they really laboured this point about insurance quite a lot actually. The other thing that came out, which I thought was interesting, was that we cannot give any grants to the local churches for interior, inside work. In other words, if they come to us and say we want a grant to do something within the church, we cannot, as a parish council, legitimately give them a grant. And it comes back from an 1849 Act when parish councils and PCCs separated. They were at one time all the same. And when they were the same, they used to integrate their resources. But when they split, in law, the statute says that parish councils cannot support churches and vice versa. It's not like churches can support parish councils, is it? But, you know, that was apparently an act that was in place since that time and has never been repealed. So it's just something that we've never been asked, I don't think, since I've been around anyway, for money for the church, but it's just something to bear in mind if we ever do get a request. I'm sure there's probably ways around it, like everything else, if we wanted to, but it can't be a direct grant in that way. But apart from that, I think most of the other items were things that you covered there. It was a very interesting day, very useful.
Of benefit. Nuttall Bench, how are we doing with that, chaps?
I've had a call today actually from the manufacturers of the bench asking where they'd like us to deliver it, where they would like to deliver it to, and when. It's available now and ready for delivery.
Who have we got the person organised who's going to fit it?
Well, Dave Wellen will fit it.
I think last time, didn't we suggest that it was delivered to David's?
David can't store it though. No, he can fit it but not store it.
Oh.
So it needs to be somewhere in the village that can actually...
The trouble is it's cast iron, probably quite heavy.
Apparently it will be a special delivery because they don't do very much in this part of the world, so it comes on their own vans.
And our own garden.
So it'll be a time delivery.
The idea was to liaise with Dave Welland when he would be free to do it and see if we could get delivery and installation the same day.
Delivered it directly to site?
Yes.
Yeah. Then he could go there during the day and move the old one or the day before and be there when it arrives.
What is going to happen to the old one?
Well, it's broken up and got rid
Oh,
of.
it's broken.
Yeah, it's rubbish.
When is it something we can talk further with David?
I can ask David. I guess the big problem is going to be tying David up with what their delivery schedules are.
Yeah.
That's going to be the big issue, as I can see it. But if we did it far enough in advance, we might be able to tie the two together.
But could he not liaise directly with them?
Well, we could ask him to do that.
If you could speak to David and tell him what the problem is,
Yeah, sure.
and then if you want, as I'm fairly near there, if you want me to liaise with him and the delivery, I'm happy to do it. But if I have it delivered to, say delivered to where I am, I've still got to get it from there, and it's a pretty heavy piece of kit.
Yeah.
We usually just dump it on the grass, or where it's going to be.
Oh, don't forget to take the plaque off the old one. There's a plaque, isn't there, on the old one?
No, it's engraved into the top.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, like it is on the new
was.
one.
They were actually going to deliver at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. I said, please don't. Can I come back to you? So that's what I said I'll do.
SID unit, we've talked about flooding in Brent Street.
Sorry, will you then come back?
I'll come back to you. I'll speak to Dave first of all, and then I'll speak to Street Master.
All right,
Thank you. Okay.
And flooding Brent Street we've talked about. Affordable resolution, we've dealt with that, haven't we?
We have.
Potential flooding issues, Church Lane, we've really dealt with that, haven't we?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or tried to deal with it. Gardening plans